Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I feel like this is the perfect time for me to introduce this segment into the series now that we're at this point in the Nancy Guthrie case, okay? It is officially day 25, and a few days ago, well, really almost it's 3 weeks. That's crazy. It's been 3 weeks. But maybe a week and a half ago, I really decided that I wanted to do a reading on the dynamics between the siblings because that first video that we got of them pleading to the, I guess, the appeal of the kidnappers at the time. Um, there was a lot of micro expressions that I felt I picked up on from each one of them. And I want to explore what that might mean without really getting into just my intuitive pings from the situation. Now, I will say that there are some elements to this story that we need to dive into. One of them being the fact that the reality, honestly, of when a matriarch's care needs change. You know, when there's someone in your family who needs assistance, a lot of times the entire family system shifts, okay? And when that system shifts under stress, pressure sometimes finds the weakest seam. And we've been picking up on pressure, or I've been talking about pressure within this case and what it could mean and how it may play out in different scenarios. Tonight, we're going to analyze the structure of this family. We're not going to necessarily pinpoint or analyze any suspects, okay? I feel like I keep repeating that in all of my readings just because I have to remind myself as I deliver these messages. Um, and part of that is just because in missing persons cases the finance family, I said financial, but that's not what I'm trying to get at. The family dynamics matter, so let's step into what that is. Now I have a couple of decks here that I'm going to use because I felt like this, it's going to require me to use a few different clarifiers. I do have this one deck that we're going to start off with. This is like a relationship kind of profiler. It does touch on like physical aspects of a person, so there may be things that get introduced in this reading that I may pick up on that you may know. I don't know details about the specifics of a person, whatever, but we're going to go with what comes out. I'm going to ask some intuitive questions and kind of treat this as an investigation, me being the detective, okay? Now, hopefully these detectives have been doing their job and asking the right questions. There have been a lot of discrepancies within that sheriff's county, the county sheriff's office, and the shakeups, the shifts, and also the introduction of the FBI. And there was some conflict with like leadership there, all that good stuff. But again, we're focusing on the family right now. So, who was primarily responsible for Nancy, okay? Who was primarily responsible for Nancy? All right, I already have some cards coming out, but they need to flip over first. All right, so here we go. Emotionally grounded came out. Stable. The first challenge is navigating initial bumps in the road. Okay, so the person who was primarily responsible for Nancy is someone who's considered to be emotionally grounded and stable. They were helpful, I guess, in navigating the first initial like challenges, hurdles, maybe in the decline of Nancy's health. And not to say that she's had this crazy decline, but she did have a pacemaker. So who knows what the challenges that came with that were. But there is somebody here who was seen as emotionally grounded and stable, who was primarily responsible. Now, did that responsibility recently change? Is a good question to ask. Raised in religious household, okay, we do know that Nancy went to church. I don't know what denomination they were, but whatever. Charming and fun loving, okay. And then we have they reflect your shadow side. All right. So already there's some energy picking up on here about a specific person. Um and there's somebody who is like a darker energy here. They reflect your shadow side. Okay. So, was care becoming more demanding? Did Nancy have more needs? Was care becoming more demanding? We're going to clarify this. So, don't worry about this being kind of like a description of a relationship or, you know, details about a specific person and their features. Don't worry about those things as much. It just helps point things in a certain direction. Okay. So, what was I asking? Something about, was care becoming more demanding? Was care becoming more demanding? All right, we have pale skin, burns easily in the sun. Mm. Now that is so plain and simple, right? But in my readings, I find myself um being hyper aware of when I need to read it slightly differently. Something about her being very fragile. She may, okay, so I do know that older people have thinner skin. Like as you get older, you lose collagen, right? And it something about her skin and the heat could be significant. In my previous readings, I was picking up on there was one day that was like super significant with like temperature and the weather, and it had to do with like extreme hot or extreme cold. Something about her being sensitive to like physical conditions, the environment or something could have been um a thing for some reason. Were there medical updates? Were there any medical updates? The spiritual awakening, moments of realization about love or lust? Okay. Were there any medical updates? I don't know. I'm picking up on, they said early on that she was sharp as a whip or whatever, very much still aware. Okay. So that was like early. I remember the early days of them talking about like Nancy's demeanor. She was older, but she may have had mobility issues, but there wasn't an emphasis on her like cognition. Okay, but with this spiritual awakening thing here, I don't know if maybe there was a question of like, is mom getting too old? Like, is mom not remembering things as easily? Is she forgetting certain things? Like, not crazy drastic, but it may be something about her starting to become more forgetful. Cleansing generational trauma. Okay. Uh, what was I asking again? Cleansing generational trauma in this spiritual awakening. This is interesting. I want to say something, but I'm gonna hold off. The sacred union is here. Charming and fun loving sacred union. This could be a separate relationship, but something about someone showing up like this in a relationship. All right. Was someone exhausted? Okay. Was someone exhausted? Vulnerable heart, openness, and trust in sharing feelings. Okay, let's not worry about that too much, but it got clarified with this letting go, releasing attachments to unhealthy relationships. All right, vulnerable heart. We do know that Nancy had a vulnerable heart. Now, like literally, right? But something about her condition was significant enough to where someone felt like they wanted to let her go, release her in some way. Okay. Um, okay, that's too many cards coming out. This is crazy. Travel wants to come out, but so does body language, safe haven, and signs from the universe. So I'm gonna put these back for a second because we need to do this in a very controlled way. I know there may be some chaotic energy that wants to pop through, but we really need to keep this streamlined. Now, Okay, just speaking from observation, serious and focus just came out. There's something about this caregiving situation that gives me a little bit of pause because I'm even thinking about when my mother, my mom was the one who took care of her father, my grandfather, right? At one point, even though she had a bunch of other siblings that could also help, but they didn't live in the same state, all that. Now I say that to say that it came to a point like towards the end of his life that you could tell that like she was physically emotionally affected by all of these changes, right? So caregiving definitely gives invisible stress. um and there could have been something about that that was super significant that people were not fully aware of. Now let's go as far as like how it affected the other person. Something about like them not knowing um the gravity of something. Now let's go into, because this is already enough as far as like what's going on in this family. It does feel like it's a tight knit family. There is somewhat of this religious background that kind of keeps things almost in order. But there's something going on as far as like the bloodline is concerned with this whole karmic energy right here. They reflect your shadow side. I feel like this may be in reference to a particular sibling who has darker energy. Like they just show up a little darker, not necessarily evil, not necessarily negative, just different. There could be the black sheep. Okay. Now, where do I go from here? Because it's like I want to clear the board here. Let me just clear this. Bear with me, guys, because it took me a second to realize like what decks I needed to use. And I have so many, but I want to handle this reading with care. Okay, so I do have some other things that I want to get to. Let's get into mm, no, I think I want to go here. All right. Did one sibling feel burdened? Did one sibling feel burdened? Celebration. Practice self care. Avoid overextending yourself. Okay. Mm. Something about this. Now, I'm using the horror deck right now because this is a horrific situation. And I don't really like using this deck, especially just like, for daily use. This is the perfect situation to use it for. So it's interesting that this came out first. Me asking, did one sibling feel burdened? Yes, they did. This was someone who felt like they were possibly losing themselves. But I don't know if they're necessarily like unfamiliar with that feeling. I don't know why I feel the need to say that, but something about that. Hold on one second. Okay, guys. So I just had to pause for a second. Now, next question, because we do have this little celebration, which doesn't feel like a celebration, but maybe that's how the intent was supposed to feel. Like it was intended to be a situation where, someone lets go of something, someone, and this is an effort to save themselves from overextending themselves. It's like almost like putting them out of their misery. Something about putting them out of their misery. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so let's move on. Did anyone feel no, was responsibility redistributed? Because remember, we're talking about the initial person or the primary person responsible. But primary person could also be inferred. Well, you can kind of assume either way because primary person in terms of monetary value or primary person in terms of like physical hands-on interaction. So take it how you want to take that message. But um sorry, I'm trying to just stay focused on my questions without getting too all over the place. So was responsibility redistributed? Was responsibility redistributed at any point? All right. Love flew out. Approach social interactions with an open heart. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, with this green, it's so weird. Okay, you can't see it. There's green. Okay. The green is significant to me. I feel like this is like approach social interactions with an open heart. This okay. It's almost like someone could have asked for help. Um, or additional help or financial help or something like that, and it was offered to them. So it's almost like it feels like somebody getting ready to quit or wanting or saying, like I feel like I'm overextending, doing too much, and I either need help or you're not here, something about that. But they were able to make the agreement, or they gave into it to doing it because it became more convenient with more money. I don't know. Let's keep going. Did anyone feel resentment building quietly? Did anybody feel resentment building quietly? Ooh. Curse in the reverse came out. See for yourself. Satisfy your curiosity. No good can come from this. Steer clear. Are we ready to do what we must before it comes crawling for us? What? So, yeah, somebody was definitely feeling resentment, but whatever was building up was like it's like unnatural. Whatever was building internally with a person was so unnatural. Well, that is, I don't know why that feels heavy to me, but it does. Now, was the financial contribution uneven? Was the financial contribution uneven? Friendship. Seek counsel from those who know you well, but be intentioned. Oh, but best intentioned guidance may be an ulterior motive. Best intentioned guidance may be an ulterior motive. Shared experiences, even traumatic, can forge bonds. Dramatic transformation. See, it's something about this handshake, this little agreement, whatever somebody agreed to, there was some ulterior motives behind it. You see how this person is like looking behind their back? It's like, okay, yeah, I'll do this, but only if you give me this. So it's like your heart is not in the right place to begin with. You know what I mean? Something about that. So, hmm, let's get into that because what is that energy? It's kind of like a nasty energy of someone being okay. Anyway, let's move on. Did geography affect involvement? Because we got to cover all bases. Did geography affect involvement? Fate. Determine your own fate. There is no way to avoid it. No opting out. Oh, you see this with a disturbing focus, even if those around cannot. There is no way to avoid it. They cannot avoid it. Look at this person. All right, let's just look at the person's energy in this. Do you see this? Look at this person. It's like she's screaming bloody murder, and then she's also upset. It's like she's always mad. Um, Something about this person being upset about having to do this. They want to take control of their own life, something about their life being controlled by something or feeling controlled. But okay. Because somebody was conveniently closer. Okay, so it's like two different stories happening at the same time, which is a common theme in this case for some reason. It's like dual narratives are running. Um so on the surface it looks like this family that is grieving the loss of their mother, right? But the things that led up to it, it's like something about the things that led up to it, it was just like aligned. Something about the fate. It's like something about it was just like perfectly in alignment, or somebody could see this from a mile away or see how this could play out a certain way. It's like not a surprise though. Okay. This is the same energy. I don't know. I feel like I'm a broken record in some ways, but I know a lot of people stumble on my videos and not necessarily read or listen to all of the readings in the series. So I will repeat it again. We have been picking up on an energy that is motivated or was motivated by money. Okay. Greed became like one of the first motives that came out when I started these readings. And now we're seeing it kind of do something like that here, but we're getting more details. It's like there's some type of weird energy between the siblings. It's like they're close, but they're not close. It's like they're either close out of convenience or habit, but the dynamic is run its course. That generational curse card came out, and that really sticks out. It's something about the shadow energy that's following. Um, I want to say this bloodline. It just feels like there is something playing out in the background. Now, was someone emotionally withdrawn? Was somebody emotionally withdrawing? Was somebody emotionally withdrawing? Trap. What did I say? If somebody feels trapped, take the advice of a trusted friend. It helps to have an outside perspective. I told you not to go in that house. I told you not to go in that house. What? Others may be waiting for you to sink into the schemes. Okay. All right. Something about the eyes is very significant. Now, the Guthrie family has some very significant eyes, and eyes has been a big thing in the case in general. When the suspect was released in terms of the picture, everybody went over, like, went crazy looking at everybody's eyes, trying to compare everything, right? But just in general, the Guthrie family does have a lot of, it seems like they have expressive eyes, even for the ones who are not super expressive, like Cameron. Cameron kind of doesn't seem like you can read him easily, but I can pick up on his energy still. Why am I saying all this? The eyeballs in here, in these cards here, just look at them. It's something about these eyes that are significant. Like you can tell what's going on with someone in particular based off of like what's going, like their facial expressions. And then within this dynamic within the sibling group, it's like when something is off with one of your siblings. You may not be able to put your finger on it. Maybe you're not that close. But you do know when they're lying, or you can tell when there's something off. Okay. And I feel like that, like somebody's eyes are telling on them. Like they either can't look people in the eye, someone can't look somebody in the eye, and that could be a form of withdrawal too. It's like they can be read some type of way. All right, let's move on to the financial aspect of this. I want to get into who managed the finances. All right, because I feel like that is very significant um in determining or at least narrowing down some of this motive stuff. So, who managed the finances of Nancy? Who managed Nancy's finances? Who managed Nancy's finances? A warrior? Saw your way through immediate problems. Overcoming one set of obstacles can transport you to a world of complications. Okay. So, it seems like someone who was managing the finances. Before they did that, it seemed like they were leaving one situation, like their own financial status was either in disarray or declining, and they were almost thrusted back into not only managing someone else's money, but trying to either hide their own financial bind, or either they were observing Nancy's money and were trying to think of ways of how they could insert or benefit off of her. But whoever managed these monies couldn't manage their own monies. That's what it seems like. It seems like somebody who was overlooking the money didn't even know how to manage money, which is crazy to me. Okay, that's not exactly what I thought was going to come out. Let's get into one last question in this section. Well, with these cards. Um, and I don't know if I'll be able to pick up on it with this deck, but let's see. Were there shared accounts? Were there shared accounts? The woods. It's the overall picture, the forest. Reliance on tech can overestimate abilities. Likely a totally filtered reality. What? Okay. Were there shared accounts? Reliance on tech can overestimate abilities. Ugh, okay, this case is also like riddled with tech details, like evidence that is so tech heavy. Like we have all these images and video and timestamps and all that, and it's kind of like a lot. It's a doozy. This I don't really understand what I'm reading, but I can tell you what I'm feeling. The feeling is a few things. One, it's like somebody trying to get out of the woods, not the literal woods, but like the figurative ones. Like, when what's the saying? Like, just not head above water, but something about the woods. They're just getting out of the woods. Like, they could have just came up out of something. Um, but the shared accounts thing, totally filtered reality is what's throwing me off. It's like somebody's idea of like what their life was supposed to be like or what their life is, like they were having a hard time grasping it in this moment. Something about them not being able to, it's like the moment, like the picture snapping the moment in the moment. Something about being in the moment and having either selfish thoughts or something. Okay, but I'm not going to read in too much of it because I don't understand. I don't understand. So let's move on, Spirit. Please give me clear messages. Clear messages only. Let's clear this board though, because I feel like this also is creating an issue for me. Um, this deck is kind of intense. So let's move on. All right. Now, this deck kind of gives me people, places, and things a little bit. So maybe we will see something new? Did anyone control decision making? Because that's also a big thing too. When there's caregiving that needs to be done with the parent, whatever, the elderly in any capacity, like it's almost like a constant check. People try to see whether or not it's like, I don't know how to explain it. When there's like an aging elder in the family that needs help, it almost seems like there's always a status update or someone either mentally checking or taking notes of like like their cognition abilities, like like you may be reading into things a little bit more. Why am I picking up on this? What is this about? uh what did I ask? Oh, about shared accounts, something about the shared accounts. No, the decision making, I mean. So sorry guys, did anyone control decision making? We have the fairy, enchantment, sprites, magic, glitter. Can you clarify this, please? The Mystic Haven, esoteric magic. What is all this magic about? I'm asking about, did anyone control the decision making? It's definitely a lighter energy. The hunter in reverse, stalker of prey, aim, strategy, pursuit, survival. What? Okay, these are two different energies. This Mystic Haven feels like home. Um, it's two different energies though. It's someone here who's like, okay, someone feels like somebody can do something like it's magic. Okay. Like they can do something like it's magic, something about them being almost irritated about that too. Um, while they have to in okay, there is some jealousy here again. Someone can do something like it's magic and they look at this other person with like a certain disdain. Okay, look how he's looking. Can you see? This person is like in pursuit of something, in survival mode, even, which could be kind of like they're just in two different worlds. Okay, this person feels like they live in two different worlds, which they do. They literally do. Look at this energy though. This also looks like this is him coming from the same place, even though this is obviously a different time frame. It's like the green, brown, earth tones and all that. This is the same kind of place. It's like they live in the same area. This person completely does not. They're living in black and white, glitter and all that. It's like this person, it feels like they live in a fairy tale while they have to live back home, back, in survival mode. Like this person is resentful ultimately. All right. Um, so they both control decision making, but in different ways and at different times. And it's like shared responsibility in that degree. Okay. Were medical costs rising? Were medical costs rising? Because I think I asked in one of these readings about like a prescription at one point, because that came up. Um, not that money would have been an issue in that regard, but again, who knows? Let me not speculate. The lake just flew out. Tranquil waters, reflections. This looks peaceful. I don't feel like there was anything going on as far as like medical costs rising and that being like, oh God, I can't pay for this. Let's just offer. No, I don't think it was that. Now, was estate planning ever discussed? Was just estate planning ever discussed in the family? Was estate planning ever discussed? I also just realized I don't have a third energy here, technically, right? As far as a person that I'm picking up on. However, um, remember there was something that popped up in the cards just a second ago about like a filtered reality or something. It's like this person can't even see straight. So they think stuff is like honky dory and sweet over here, and it may not be. It's just like a different experience. Like somebody else is living a different experience. Now we have the educator out here. This is like a guide, a mentor of some sort. So somebody they could have been discussing with someone about like estate planning. They could have been getting like guidance. The bank just flew out. Okay, so there could definitely be something about like discussing, okay, what are mom's final arrangements? Like we should start discussing. Oh, okay, so it's something about a conversation. Remember I said in one of these readings about how like there was an argument before some of this started to shift within the family. There was an argument, and that's part of the clue that Savannah has. It's like, oh shit, that's what where like she's remembering a specific conversation that now feels out of place. Okay, but now it's starting to make sense to her. So again, let's move on. And again, it may not even be Savannah, but I feel like she's the least uh not problematic, but the least involved in the situation just because of distance. I feel like the distance wasn't just about like, oh, you're in Arizona and I'm in New York or wherever the heck she lives. I think it was more so about like she literally has a demanding job. Anyway, um, what else do we need to get into? Because I feel like even calm families feel strain under certain shifts. Okay, so it may not have been money per se for everyone involved. Maybe a specific person could have been dealing with money issues, right? And then managing the money of another person. And that was starting to make them either resentful, jealous of what they're seeing, viewing whatever, feeling like they want to insert themselves in some way. But, but mind you, because there is this skewed view of life, there's other things that whoever these other siblings are, they just don't know. So they can't even confirm. There's stuff they don't even know, but they know. They know, it's something about them knowing something for a fact. They know for a fact, but they're not saying something out loud. It's like they know something. Okay. Were there any financial disagreements? Were there any financial disagreements? Were there any financial disagreements? Why does this want to come out? Were there any financial agreements, please? Okay, you know what? That's crazy. I'm trying to clarify this bank card, but for some reason it's like not wanting to come out. It does feel like there was some type of disagreement, but I don't know exactly what the issue is. I don't know what the issue is. Can we clarify the financial disagreements? Now, in previous readings, we picked up on a house. We've picked up on um like something to do with real estate kept coming up. There was also something about like insurance policy changes and a possible beneficiary that came up at one point. Now, is that relevant now? Who knows? Um, were there financial disagreements? Mother-in-law. Ooh, and this came out like this. Y'all, mm-hmm. Anyway, that's all I wanted to know. So somebody was okay. Somebody was inserting themselves in something that doesn't even have anything to do with them. Okay. And that could go for two people at the same time, even the person who's supposed to be managing the money. Something about them inserting themselves in something. Now, remember the reading where I said the matriarch hid the truth? There was a card that came out that was like the matriarch hid the truth. Um, and in that other Nancy reading with the yellow flowers thumbnail, there was something about took something from me, and that keeps coming up. So there was something that was taken or argued about as far as ownership that is super significant. All right. I want to move on. Okay. Let's move on. We do need to get to this spousal influence because I don't like seeing this mother in law card and it being sideways and her looking upset. It's like somebody didn't like somebody. All right. So let's see what's going on there because investigators could be widening the circle. Obviously, sometimes tension isn't just between the siblings, it could be between spouses. All right. So, did partners disagree on care and involvement? Did partners disagree on care or involvement? Did partners disagree on care and involvement? Hmm. Did partners disagree on care and involvement? Finally, grandparent. Grandparent. Hmm. All right. What about this elderly lady? What's the issue? What is the disagreement about? Okay. It's something about like her final care. Final care? Is that even a thing? They call it other things, home or whatever, but what is the at home care? I don't know. What is this? Person causing the negativity is a fire sign. Who's a fire sign? I don't know the date of birth of these people. I have said it in one of these videos. I think in the gematria video, I might have said something about their date of birth. Um, what is this? They constantly convince people that they are this or that. Okay. Now I'm gonna get one more card and then I want to see. We gotta evaluate. Secretly jealous and hating on your romantic relationship. Now, um, it's some weird energy. And I know it's weird because it's gotta be weird if it's family involved and somebody is jealous or resentful. It's obviously weird. Now, how weird can it get? This person feels like they are it's like they feel like there is not enough time to do other things or somebody's always somewhere or we don't have the ability to do something. Like these are just like thoughts that I'm hearing from a person. It feels like they are complaining. It's like thoughts and complaints. Thoughts, complaints, prayers, whatever. It's like something about them being a complainer. They're complaining a lot. All right. Lies just flew out on the floor. So it's some complaining and then it's lies being thrown around. I don't know in what capacity at this point. All right. Did anyone want distance? Let's get into that. Did anyone want distance? Did any partner express their need or want for distance? Oh God, this is already going so long. We're already almost at an hour mark. So thank you if you have been here so far. I'm thinking about cutting this short, but I don't know. Run away, run away, run away, run away. What is this? So did somebody want distance? Yeah, they wanted to get the fuck. Okay. All right. Was outside influence affecting the sibling harmony? Was outside influence affecting the sibling harmony? Oh God. Intuition is underneath the jack. We have a fake spiritualist wooded area. Love. Okay, wait. Um, why does it feel like I keep hearing I put a spell on you. I put a spell on you. What the hell is going on here? You know what this energy feels like? You know those crazy people oh are like obsessed with the person that they're with so much that they'll like get someone else in their family maybe or someone they know to like put a spell on them. It's something that is so down another rabbit hole I'm not trying to go down. It's something about like a person. Oh God, it's just doing extras. I don't even want to get into that right now. Mm-mm. Let's move on. Um, mm. Did marital stress ever intersect with caregiving? Did marital stress intersect with caregiving? These two want to come out. Okay, Jupiter retrograde, problems with making important life changes for future benefits, expansion, abundance and prosperity, and then we have this cult here. So remember that brute force group. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Go back to the other readings. I think that this is what this is. And that's probably why I picked up on that other spooky energy just a second ago because they get into that too. But again, we're gonna keep this nameless for now because I'm gonna start accusing these people. Once I get into the interrogation room with them, if something comes up crazy, I'm just going to say it. So the Jupiter retrograde part is a little spooky to me too, because again, we're getting into the money again. We're getting into somebody who was like, I don't want to keep doing this with this. I don't want to keep having to take care of your mom. We need to be able to be traveling like there's something due. Like that's another thing that they're gonna have to start looking at too. Like they're gonna have to start looking at like those bills that the mail that they retrieved from the mailbox at Nancy and Annie's house. I think is gonna be significant in this case for some reason. It's like a piece of mail. Oh, this is just taking me back to some of these early readings. I'm so glad that I did so many early because a lot of the early energy I feel like is what's most accurate. Going back and dipping in is where stuff starts to get a little muddy every once in a while. So that's why I have to take a break. But that early energy was talking about um Nancy viewing like paperwork or something that she wrote down or a piece of mail, a document that's on the counter, something about that is significant. They might have to even go into other people's finances to see like, okay, how much are you in debt? Because that may just be a red flag. And even though that doesn't say everything, it can definitely paint a specific kind of picture. So let's move on into was anyone advocating strongly for a specific outcome? Because this spousal influence is kind of like, was anybody advocating roughly or strongly for a specific outcome? Anybody wanting a specific outcome? Cover up. Okay. So somebody wanted something that would be seamless, okay, or an easy, a sure bet, an easy if you got a runaway and a cover up, it's like, oh, okay, I could hire. That's what it looks like. It literally looks like that I'm getting someone, the person not even being local, and then being able to cover up some way. Like, but okay, again, we're also seeing one, two, three, four, five people here. So there's more than one person involved. It's kind of been up in the air in terms of how many people are involved. I picked up on six before. I picked up on five before. But it's definitely not just one. It's definitely not even just two, I don't think. Because there's too much movement. Okay, so let's see. I think I only want to ask one last. Oh gosh, the couple just flew out on top of the Jupiter retrograde card. What? I told you. A couple flew out right here next to the coat. I could end the reading right here. I really could. Let's go into like that recent argument check though, because every investigation needs to ask a few questions. One of them being, were there any recent arguments? Like subtle ones, you know, little ones. Like I said, somebody remembers something from a conversation. All right. And it doesn't have to be these dramatic arguments. No, it doesn't have to be nothing like that. It can be actually the more calmer conversations where you pick up on stuff like the tone may shift. A text may change. Scheduling friction may happen. Like, oh, mom can't come to the phone. That type of energy. She can't come to the phone. Oh, she's asleep right now, or almost diverting. It's something about diverting attention somewhere by coming up with excuses for stuff. Revenge is out here. Revenge and lies. That's crazy. That's not the first time. Okay, so let's get into these spirit questions real quick. Okay, um was there a disagreement that changed, communication frequency? Was there a disagreement that changed communication frequency? All right, I want to take this one. Wooded area is back out here. What is up with the woods? The woods and the wooded area. All right, causing you to miss out, lose an opportunity. Water is significant again. I don't understand. Today, water has been coming out a lot. A boat came out twice. Water, I don't get it. I don't get it, and I'm not even gonna try to act like I get it. So, causing you to miss out on on an opportunity, lose out on an opportunity. It's like somebody feels like they're losing out on life, or like their life is moving without them. Something about that. But did the communication frequency change? Is what I'm trying to get at. Oh Lord, inside something is happening inside. Haters are mad because they see you winning. All right. Um. Protection, self-confidence, inner strength. Okay, so this tiger's eye, altering your values and morals on making life decisions. So again, we're seeing this life decision card come out here. Jupiter retrogrades. When somebody has like a bad idea and then they have the audacity to say that shit out loud, and somebody's stupid enough to like take on the idea and start planning, like the they literally look crazy together. Something about them looking crazy together. I'm wondering also if there's any type of substance or recreational drug use of any kind, because you just wonder why or how people could get to certain conclusions to do certain things, or it's just like you could not possibly be in your right mind. So whatever the case is, it does feel like there could have been some communication that was staticky at best. I don't know how, if the frequency changed necessarily, that I don't feel like I'm going to get a clear image of that in this deck, and I just want to move on from this particular board. So let's move on to I kind of want to jump back into the profile deck again slash relationship card deck, because it just, I could possibly get more about a specific person. So what is this? Travel is back out here again. Someone like likes hiking for sure. Oh, not taking all of this. Not taking all of this. Let's get back in there. All right, just a couple more questions. Stay in there, hang in there. I'm gonna try to do this under an hour. All right. So, did anyone avoid family gatherings? Jealous and possessive. Did anyone avoid family gatherings? Give me another card, please, because whoever this person is, I'm experienced childhood trauma or hardship. It's always this loser ass sibling. I'm telling you, go back to the original. What reading was that where I was talking about the loser siblings? I think it's the reading that's got either Annie on it by herself, or it has like all the siblings for that we will pay bullshit commentary. So it's not so much that this person may avoid family gatherings, but maybe they are, they can probably find ways to be absent or just not as present, even if they're 100% there physically. There's also something about them being like, just feeling like an outsider. This is the same story that we keep picking up from the beginning. I mean, I'm kind of glad, but I'm irritated. I'm glad because it's the same clear message. So my transmission is clear. However, I'm irritated because I'm day 25 into this whole thing, and we're still talking about the same shit. And I'm like, I know. First of all, I know I'm not the only intuitive picking up on this, but I know for a fact there's no way possible that the sheriff's office and the FBI don't already know what's going on. They just can't say anything right now. They can't say anything right now because they already look reckless. They already have fumbled credibility by accusing people. I mean, and not even really accusing them, making it known that they were detaining people in advance and like having people track the whole situation. It was a lot. All right. So let's move on. Was there tension masked as politeness? Was there tension masked as politeness? Remember in the beginning, there was something about what is this? And to be charming and fun loving. My ass. Serious and focused. Okay. They reflect your shadow side. This emotionally grounded, stable bullshit. Something about this person, ugh, it's like maybe that's how they show up. That they're like emotionally grounded, stable, serious, focused, but that's not really it. They even may project as like being charming. Something about this person is, and it's like I don't know why they feel like such an outsider, because they are the center of attention a lot of times, but in the negative way. You know how that dynamic can play out. It's like the middle child, or I mean, it didn't have to be the middle child, but you know what I'm trying to say, like that, the strong-willed child energy. Like this is how that person is popping up, and it's like they're pushing the reading. I'm trying to pick up on these other siblings. I'm going to have to do them individually now for sure. Chronic overthinker, anxiety driven is out here. Okay. So, as far as tension masked as politeness, yeah, this person is like someone who is, they could have like an anxious personality. They could overthink things. They could be very sensitive also. So they could have, I almost am picking up on somebody having like these intuitive gifts also, but just using them for bad, or never really fully honing in on them in some way, and this is kind of like the fallout from that. Sports and fitness is here for some reason. Okay, but this is underneath the travel card, so it's almost like somebody with the same energy. Or maybe this is one person versus another. Maybe they like to be active, but just in different ways. I don't know. Did someone feel unheard? Did someone within the family feel unheard? Oh. Mm. All right, the divine union is out here, ombre or balayage, dye job. Oh, I remember when Annie wore her hair down and everybody was like, oh my God, why is her hair down? Why does she dye her hair? Like, who said she went to go get her hair done? Her hair didn't look done to me. But I think it was just because people couldn't see it. It was in the clip, that first video. So now everybody assumed because it was down, like in lighter looking, the light was hitting it, that it was something. But again, this is something to do with this. All right. There's some type of union here that's not so divine, but there is like a mutual something going on. All right. And I'm just going to say, Annie, girl, we're going to have to do you next because you just keep coming through in the reading. Ascended love elevates both partners spiritually. Oh God. Did they feel like they were like, you know how those killer couples are weird? Like they just think they're God's gift and all this. Big family used to shared attention. Okay. Someone could be coming from a big family who's used to shared attention. And maybe wants there to be more balance because they are aware of how to do that, or it's something about okay, it's a lot. I'm gonna oversimplify what I'm hearing. It's like you're too close. You're too close to them, or you're too close, or you do too much. Um, like you have your own life. Something about you. I don't know. It's weird. Let's move on. The connection is deeply intense, sometimes painful. Their relationship is weird. It's like they're like, oh, and by them, I'm talking about this couple that I shall not name, but it's like they think that they are soulmates, just to put it plainly. It's like they think they're soulmates, but, or somebody in the relationship thinks that this is a soulmate. And they both have some type of weird allegiance to each other, like they were, was something. I mean, they're in this together, yeah, but something about the delusion of it all. Like they're delusional. Like or if this is a momentary thing, I don't know if these people like to get high together or what is going on, but something about them being like, even something about psychedelics. Um, Something about psychedelics is significant. That is so weird. Or just being like that free spirit, like that's the energy they want to have, like they just want to go off and travel. They want to just be able to like go off and travel, live this kind of like certain life that is not real. It's not even real. Okay, hmm was conflict minimized publicly? Seduction, the art of drawing someone in for lustful gains. What? I asked, no, the first question, I'm forgetting the questions I'm asking. The first question I asked is someone feel unheard, right? And uh, I'm not getting a clear understanding of what that is. But this card coming out when I said was conflict minimized publicly. In their mind, it was. Um, in their mind, it was, or something about the siblings or the family in general the family in general likes to keep things in order. Like something about doing the right thing. It's not just about optics, it's like literally doing the right thing, or like, like your this is family. This is family. You don't do don't do this to your family. Don't treat your family like this. Something about you keeping, when what is that? When your mom says something about like what stays in this house, what happens in this house stays in this house, or something about like them having this unspoken rule to take silence to the grave, or like if there's some, okay, they're not good at talking shit out. That's what the fuck. Oh my god, I couldn't get it out. They're not good at talking things out as a family. That's why there's this weird disconnect between like the energy and the siblings. It's like Cameron, okay, and you can't read in too much because Cameron is a male, right? So he's gonna emote differently, um, if at all. And seemed present, but like inconveniently so. Like, oh my God, this is my life. This is their reality, right? But they were all saying that for different reasons. For different reasons. Like they're all having crazy ass thoughts about like this is what it all came down to. Like the accomplishments that some of them had, like this is what it all comes down to, like this is their story. Like that's what it's irritation for somebody. It's irritation on one, real inconvenient for somebody else. Another person is like super like, oh my God, I cannot believe that the reality I created in my mind is not real. Like, oh my God, this shit did not plan out like the way I thought it was. And then the other two are like, oh my God, did this bitch really do this? Like they're not saying it. They're not. It's not funny. This is not funny. The relationship feels fated or destined. Okay, the fate card came out before. It's something about these people knowing something like this would happen, or knowing something like this could have happened, or being like, oh my God, like we knew she was nuts, but or we knew they were nuts, but we didn't think that like our worst nightmare would come true. Because it could have been a fleeting thought at one point, like, oh my God, like if something ever happens to mom, like I will know exactly what the fuck. Like something like that, but not verbatim, obviously. Savannah doesn't talk like that. Um, um hmm. I do have one last question. I want to ask, did the roles feel unfair to somebody? Like, did they feel like this is just so unfair, which is crazy to me because I can imagine somebody thinking like that. But then at the same time, if I'm putting myself in it, I'm taking care of my parents. Like, I would do it. I don't know, something about that, just I would rather do it than have somebody else come in and then I don't know exactly what's going on. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. We need to close out. Did the roles feel unsafe or unfair? Not unsafe. Shooting star. A wish. Somebody just wishes for something. It's like they wish that this was not the case. And with this movie thing, you know how they say like, is it schizophrenics or psychopaths? One of them, it's one of these mental disorders where the people feel like their lives are someone else's and they're watching it like a movie, like they don't feel like they live their own lives. Or is that borderline personality? I don't know, y'all, but it's something about a person just not feeling like their life is like their movie. It's a movie, but it literally is going to end up being a movie. That's what's also crazy. It's like this is definitely going down in history. So I feel like the family systems don't fracture overnight. This is something that, starts off as a bend at first, and then when pressure builds up quietly, that's when everything just falls apart. So investigators don't need to be looking for any crazy explosions. I don't think. I feel like they're going to be looking for stress lines, little fractures here and there. This isn't about blame necessarily just yet. Okay. This is about understanding the environment, the surrounding, situation around the supposed disappearance, whatever this is, because environment shapes the outcome. So we know that for a fact. Now we're going to continue to map the structure, not the noise. And then I'm going to get into some other things because I do need to let go of this for a little bit. I am over it. All right. I love you guys. If you have made it here just this far, thank you, thank you, thank you for watching to the end. That means you are trying to be one of my day ones. And I love you that for that. I love that for us, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let me get off here because I can feel Mercury retrograde trying to snatch my tongue out of my mouth. I love you. I will see you in the next one. Bye.